Welcome back to N2 the Chatterverse, where two gents share their 2 cents on pop media. I am Victor Dandridge, the hardest working man in comics.
And I'm Bill, and unlike 2 weeks ago, I have now seen 2 different versions of How to Train Your Dragon.
Yes, you have. Wait, you actually watched the animated one?
Yeah, on the flight home.
Yay! That's awesome. So you just rewatched the same movie, just in 2 different forms.
But there's differences.
Okay?
Yeah, the beginning there's like almost no difference.
No, there is not. No, there is not.
And that would when we talked to John Campea about it, and he was like, "I hate this." That was the reason why he hated it, and then he loved it
because it got to a point where it changed.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. For those that don't know, Bill and I went to CinemaCon, hit up Las Vegas, which was an amazing event put on by Cinema United, the new moniker for what used to be called NATO.
Yeah.
What did it stand for? Was it North American Theater? No.
I
always want to say that.
What is it? National something theater owners. I can't remember.
Alliance?
Alliance. That's
Alliance?
what it was.
Okay.
Alliance,
All right. National Alliance of Theater Owners.
Yeah.
They had to change that name.
Yeah.
I appreciated the joke about it too. It's like, we started getting we've gotten NATO mail and phone calls, and I was like, I can see that as a security issue. Like very, no.
Yeah, when they had to go to DC to talk to people, like, they'd be really kind to them, then they said they were from NATO, and they get really serious.
Yeah, they're like, wait, what? You're like, no, different one. But this is an event you've gone to a couple times.
Yeah.
It's one part theater trade show, so it's showcasing a lot of different things that are the features of your local theater, from seats to snacks, projectors, all kinds of things that really are about building the movie-going experience. But in addition to that, you have the studio setup that is kind of like a live preview of things to come, which is kind of brilliant and amazing. Like, for us, we've done San Diego a couple times. We've gotten into Hall H, and getting to see that setup in the summertime is cool. Without question, that's cool. This was a lot more of that, though. Like, a lot more. I got to give, who do I want to, Paramount, they went nuts on their piece, which was really, really cool. They weren't the best, though. Universal was the best.
Without a doubt, Universal was the
best. And we'll get into why. But this was insane. In terms of rating your previous experiences, how do you rate this year's?
Well, there were more studios this year.
Okay.
Because the first year I went, Sony was there. Last year they weren't.
Okay.
Because everything that they announced was coming out this past year. And Amazon MGM wasn't a thing
yet. Yeah.
And they were there. What else am I missing? There's something else I'm missing.
Another studio?
There is another studio in there somewhere, but I can't think of who it is. But yeah, there was a lot of, and there were less screenings.
Really?
Yeah, because the last 2 times I've gone there, but there were 3 screenings.
Wow.
This time there were only the 1.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Give me something to look forward to, because I definitely enjoyed going. Again, like I said, first time going, really kind of seeing what this was. I saw, and ironically, I saw plenty of people from, my side of geekdom there, whether that was, TikTok influencers, media people, folks that I have encountered at Comic-Cons at this event. And wait, you two are also here? Like, it was one of those fun sort of moments. But getting to see these early shots and stuff, and these notifications, so to speak, was absolutely fun. I will tell you, the thing that was most aggravating to me, totally behind the scenes, and my rationale for it is hilarious. There were very strict rules about having your phones in the showcase space. Now, us being from Hall H, we know how to deal with this, right? Like, we know you put your phone in your pocket, you don't even have it out because you'll get kicked out. You don't want that. For a bunch of theater owners, man, there was a bunch of folks that were not listening.
Yeah, but that's it's not just theater owners.
Okay.
Because if you, like, John Campea was there.
That's true. That's true.
And then Jeremy Johns is one of the guys that does reviews. I saw him. Scott Mance works for. I know he works for Fathom and other stuff. And I've seen people from Rotten Tomatoes and that kind of stuff. And then people that are not necessarily theater owners, but like equipment, that kind of stuff. Yeah, there were a lot of people that had their phones out.
A bunch of people.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
They had them down.
True.
A lot of times they were down.
True.
And I got tagged on this last year because someone was trying to get a hold of me about something, and I had it down.
Right.
I wasn't facing up, and that's the thing. They don't want you to record anything.
Right.
And then you get the laser mark on you.
That was crazy. Like that was worse than being in school getting caught with something, because it was like, come on, like what is it?
They had people on the balcony with lasers, and then they had people on the floor walking
around to like answer. Like it was the security level.
Yeah.
Man, it was tough. That was like one of the weirdest things, because you could see it out the corner of your eye. Like no matter what, you could always see when they did it.
Yep.
And it was so distracting. I hated it because it was like, what? Put it away. Like I'm trying to look at the thing. Okay, so Sony's who kicked it off, right? I'm trying to remember all.
Sony was the first night. Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember all of the studios that we saw. So wait, why am I? I'm not going to do this to myself. I still have the the schedule, because I am so very proud of all the things we got to see. Let's see. Is that my phone still?
That is your phone.
Why are you doing that? That is.
Do
weird.
we need to put a laser on you?
You might have to, because that was weird. I don't even know what was playing. All right, so we had. Let's see. So we've got Sony. We had Lionsgate. And I don't know why I thought Lionsgate was a part of somebody else.
I don't think they ever really were.
No, but they had people under them though, right? Like, is that Blumhouse and all that? Was they under Lionsgate?
I don't think I am not sure. I always thought that Blumhouse was his own thing.
Blumhouse, not Blumhouse. I always say that. We had Warner Brothers. We had Amazon MGM, Universal. We had Paramount Pictures, and then Disney. And that was a lot. Like, it didn't seem like, there are that many like studios just out there. It's a bunch of content from them. Like, it was kind of amazing. It was absolutely amazing. What was your least favorite presentation? If there was a studio that you could kind of go, I didn't get what I wanted.
Oh, well, that's completely different. I'm going to go with Disney.
Really?
Yeah.
What did you want that you didn't get?
I think a little bit more with the Marvel movies. And I think Kevin Feige not being there was a little bit of a cop-out. He was there last year.
Right.
For Deadpool and Wolverine.
Fair.
I just think that they showed too much, like, animated stuff.
Okay.
Over the extended versions of it, which, they've done that before. And no Star Wars anything.
Nothing Star Wars-wise.
Though I guess technically Mandalorian doesn't come out till next year.
Okay.
Like May or something, I want to say.
But because it's Disney Plus, they wouldn't talk
about
it?
No, that's getting a theatrical release.
Oh, well, then why wouldn't you talk about that?
Because it's next year after next year's CinemaCon.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
But, so, I mean, if they weren't planning on coming back...
Then maybe they would have shown it.
Yeah, but, you've got Disney, 20th Century Studios, Marvel, Pixar, and Disney Animation.
Right.
Whereas, like, with Warner Brothers, you had Warner Brothers Animation, which was, I think that was new this year.
It didn't look very lived in yet.
Yeah, and DC and...
Was it New Line?
They brought New Line back.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't bring it back so much as they brought back the original graphic.
Yeah. And for those that are longtime listeners, watchers, New Line Cinema has been owned by Warner Brothers for a long time, which is why Blade, the first one, is more of a Disney or DC movie than a Marvel movie. I said what I said. I was actually surprised that you didn't say the MGM Amazon one, because you were looking for the announcement of Bond, and while they very briefly were like, they're looking at it right now. I'm not gonna lie, like, you talking about it got me hyped. Like, are they gonna announce that? That would be dope. That would be fun.
Project Hail Mary.
Okay, that's gonna be a fun one.
I mean, if they announced 15 things.
They really did. Like, that's
for the first time there. They announced 15 things.
That's a bunch.
And I was expecting them to announce who Bond is, but
Right.
it's fine that they didn't, because Bond's not going to come out in the next year anyway.
Right.
It'll probably be 2 or 3 years before Bond comes out. That was my Hail Mary. I'm
I get
like,
it.
if I had to pick something, would I put $5 on it? Yeah. Would I put 50? No.
No.
And I would have lost $5. I'm like, okay.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
That's actually less than a cup of coffee out there too.
That's so true. That's so true. Although I did enjoy the many, included meals of food that were there, except for the sandwich. We had sandwiches for lunch. I was like, I don't like sandwiches like that. They always pre-make them, and I can't stand those. But I was so very thankful that the trade show was still going on, so I could go get some pizza from one of the vendors, which was fantastic.
Or candy, or
I got all that. I got all
ice
that.
cream.
I didn't see ice or the Dippin' Dots. Is that what you mean? Or actual ice cream?
They had actual ice cream.
I did not see that.
Yeah, they were
I'm going
there.
back next year. Got to do it. Okay, so to that end, what was your highlight? What was your favorite?
Oh, it was Universal without a doubt.
Yeah.
When you have a live orchestra.
Do y'all hear what he said? A live orchestra.
It wasn't like 150 pieces, but it was fantastic.
Beautiful. Led by the awesome conductor Ricky Minor. And I think the thing that made that so cool was that it was in fact Universal's actual orchestra. Like these are the actual people that play for the movies. And I was like, that's awesome. And when you look at the amount of musical like scores that are just under that studio, it blows your mind because you're like, this is all iconic. How many did you clock were from John Williams?
4.
4? Yeah. Can you guys guess in the comments below what were the 4 Universal Studios theme suites that they played, written by John Williams? Let's see what y'all got. Test yourself. No, I agree. That one was awesome.
Yeah, there's no way that anyone could say anything beat Universal.
No.
No matter what it was that they put out,
Yeah.
just that alone was amazing.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome. I do give Paramount their credit for putting on spectacle. The thing with the bikes was cute and it was fun. It was very circusy, and it caught me off guard only because I was not expecting any of that whatsoever.
Yeah, it's not the first time I've seen something like that from Paramount.
Okay.
They did something with turtles.
Like the Ninja Turtles?
Yep. Like they had people
would've
dressed up
interested
as turtles, and they were doing acrobatics and all that
Okay.
kind of stuff. And ninjas. There were ninjas too.
They somewhat did that with Karate Kid Legends.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That wasn't Paramount, was it?
I don't
No.
think so.
They all bleed together at this
Yeah,
point.
it does. It does.
Good God. We
Like
saw
I said,
so much.
like I said off the air,
Yeah.
something will be shown in 6 months. You'll be like, "Oh yeah, I've seen that."
Yeah, I've seen that.
Like, haven't you already seen it?
You haven't seen that yet?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Y'all weren't at CinemaCon.
Yeah.
Peasants. Sorry. No, that was definitely cool. I think for my end, in terms of disappointment, I will also say Disney, but for what we didn't get at the end of the presentation. Like, we got some swag from other places that were pretty dope. And I was disappointed that the swag that we got was the Wheaties box for the popcorn that we got served while we were in there.
Oh, I thought it was hilarious that people pick up this Wheatie box and they're like, "Well, you were one of them."
Yeah,
You're
'cause I was
you're
like,
"There's just popcorn in
just
here,"
put- they just
and
put
it was a
popcorn in
bag of popcorn. It
Right.
wasn't like made. And,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "What were you expecting?"
I-
like, it's just the Wheaties box. That's all. Yeah,
That
that's why I
yeah.
didn't pick it up.
Yeah, see, I don't blame you. Yeah, because I had no idea. I'm like, oh, what? I mean, I did figure it was popcorn. I did think it was popcorn.
Yeah.
But I thought that they had, worked with a vendor or somebody like that had specially made a bunch of
Right.
popcorn boxes. And when you open it, it's like, no, it's just the bags of popcorn that we had gotten before
Right.
throughout the whole weekend, which
Yep.
was good. But then I got mad. I was like, man, you know how mad I would have been if it was the other bag? Because they had a sea salt one and they had like a cheese one.
Yeah.
And I didn't want the cheese one. So I would have been so mad.
I think the cheese one was the only one I had over that week.
Was
I
that
had
the
like
only one
twice.
yet?
Yeah.
Oh man,
I like it. I
had
like
the
the cheese.
sea salt. That was my life right there. But yeah, I was a little disappointed that that's what it was. Only because I would have liked more of a wearable or usable like swag piece. I think some of the other things that we got was absolutely amazing.
What was the best swag piece you thought?
Ooh.
And this is from the studios walking out, not
Right.
not in the bags of
Yeah, because you get
crap
like,
that
I'm
we
still,
got, which
I'm
was
still
like-
rocking this hat. In terms of so for my personal use,
Mm-hmm.
I will say best swag was the MGM tumblers.
I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the worst part about it
Yeah.
was just the MGM logo on it.
That's it.
But the tumblers were like,
they're high quality.
yeah,
High quality,
yeah.
glass straw.
Yep.
And let me tell you how bad it is. Juno has already checked one in. Like that's hers. Like she came and claimed it. Like, nah, this is mine. And I'm like, excuse me. She's like, you have two. And I'm like, wow. Like she justified the whole thing. So she took one, and I guess I get the other one if I want to. My How to Train Your Dragon Cup did survive my flight home, which I was very proud of. That was great. And I do have to say, parenthetically, you are Juno's hero, because when I came in and I had the Wicked for Good bag,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Oh my God, that's so cool!" And I was like, "Yeah, well, this one's for Harold." And she's like, "Oh, okay." And I said, "Because Uncle Bill gave you one." And she was like, "Oh my God, he's the best! I love him!" Da, da, da. So yeah, you're a champion in her eyes. Good job. I honestly am gonna say second to the tumblers though was getting a copy of the new Hunger Games book. Apparently, like I pulled that out.
Lionsgate?
I think it was.
Okay.
I think it was. I pulled that out, and the household was like, "You have that book?" And I'm like, "Yeah, they gave it away. Can I read it?" I'm like, "If you want to, like, I'm not gonna gatekeep books. Like, we don't do that. But I didn't know you were into Hunger Games." They're like, "Yeah, no, I really want that book." I'm like, "Oh, well, here you go. Have at it." So just in terms of like reactions to people, like, "Oh my God, you have that." That was pretty good too. What about you? Other than the Tumblr, because the Tumblr was amazing.
Well, I didn't get the book because I left that early because of Lionsgate, because I was not feeling well.
Yeah.
What was the mug we got?
That was the How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah, that. Yeah, I like that.
It's strong and sturdy.
It was quality. That's not. So basically, I'm used to the stuff that we get San Diego.
I got you.
You get like a mini one sheet, and everyone's like, "Oh, you got a poster, you got a poster." I'm like, "Yeah, you got this little itty bitty thing."
It doesn't count. It doesn't count for nothing.
This big. And you get stuff made of paper and cheap plastic.
If that.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got 3 shirts. So we got the Sinners shirt. We got the Sinners Mission Impossible shirt, and then we got the CinemaCon shirt. I almost wore the CinemaCon shirt today, actually, and I was like, "No, let me not do that. I've got this hoodie on. I'm not gonna do that." But I do like those too. Like, I think for whatever reason, I love tangible takeaways. Yeah. That's always.
Did you get the Cinema United pin?
Oh, I don't think so.
Okay.
I did get a Cinema United hat.
Yeah, because the hat and the pins were there at the same time.
Oh, okay.
And they may have got. I don't know. Because I saw that the hats were all off to the side when we're leaving, and I don't know if they just did not, like, they used up all the pins or just whatever.
It's more than possible. I didn't like the hat. It didn't fit my head well. It was like a very like small cap shape, and if I cut my hair, it would probably be great, but my hair's too big for it. But so yeah, that was kind of fun of an experience without question. There were some like industry talks. Did you go to many of those?
No, I've been to those.
You're like, go back.
Yeah, I don't need to hear what's wrong with the industry. I know what's wrong with the industry. I don't need to hear what's wrong with theaters. I know what's wrong with theaters. And I also don't need people from studios telling me what's wrong with the theater. And especially when you're saying ticket prices are too high, and well, who negotiates that?
Wait, I was going to say, as a kid in the back of the room, isn't that part of the studios need to make back their money on what they spent?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I will agree. Okay, so the guy at Paramount does this every year.
Okay.
And I realize that he's not talking to every theater.
Sure.
He's primarily talking to AMC.
Okay.
Because they are the largest.
Right.
And he takes his jabs at Adam Aaron, which is fine. But don't give someone $200 million to make a movie.
Simple. Because then you don't require as much in the ticketing price.
Now, I can understand during COVID, like when they were making Mission Impossible.
Right.
That, it kept getting shut down because of COVID. And, the pay that goes along with that. But we're not in those days anymore.
No.
So, Yeah.
I get it. No, that's very, very true. The jabs were thrown, man. Like, I have to admit, was it Universal that threw like the graphic up to show like how much more they had been producing since COVID in terms of everybody else? I was like, shots fired. Like, is there love between studios, or do they just kind of be like, no, like, we are actually competitors?
No, yeah, they are competitors.
I mean, it's true.
Yeah.
I don't know why I've never like really thought of it that way, but like seeing them like kind of take stabs at each other, it was like, oh.
Well, watch it when the release schedule happens. Like when a movie moves, you'll see a bunch of other movies move.
So that way,
so they go like, oh wait, we don't want to go up against that, or wait, that's a prime spot.
You're gonna take it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Man, I'm telling you, the entire trip was fascinating and such a learning experience for me. It's actually influenced like some of the things that I'm doing now, where I do have goals of bringing people back to the movies. Like, no, we're going to go to the movies. It's such an important facet of an experience of a movie that you almost, I don't want to say have forgotten, but I think like that's something that we don't focus on enough anymore, is what it's like to go see a movie with a bunch of people that we don't know. The biggest shout out that I have to give to that is Final Destination Bloodlines. You can't get a better example of exactly why you go to the movies than with the clip that we got. The collective like reaction. We all had the same reaction to that scene, and it made it funny. Like, if you were by yourself, you'd be like, yeah, that's grotesque, I don't like this. Seeing it with a bunch of people made it the correct form of funny for you to enjoy it. Like, it's magic, and I think too many people have forgotten it. And I have to give you mad credit. Big shout out to Phil, all of the Phoenix Theaters crew, for reminding me of how fun it is to actually go to the movies. Like, it was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. Man, I'm eager for next year. I can't even pretend. I'm probably gonna be super judgmental at San Diego this year. Like, y'all got to bring it. Yep. Where's the orchestra? Y'all don't have an orchestra? They had an orchestra at CinemaCon. Step your game up.
Well, I just have 2 words.
Yes.
Warner Brothers.
Hey, they are dope. As long as they bring back the panorama.
Yeah, I mean, they do.
Because they gotta use that. Because that was dope. That was dope.
Well, I still haven't heard whether or not DC is going to be there. James Gunn has not said. He said, "Come on, James. I know I'm going to be at CinemaCon.
Yeah,
I haven't made plans for San Diego yet." He's like, "I don't know if I'm going to be there." I'm like,
"Come on, James.
I get it.
Come on."
But also,
we need you there.
Supergirl.
Yeah, we need you there, man. Like, the ball will be thrown. Like, this is your chance to honestly tap dance on Kevin Feige's lips. So I need you to do it. Like this is your shot. So make it happen. Guys, thank y'all for tuning into the Chatterverse. Once again, I'm Victor Danders, the hardest working man in comics.
I'm Bill, and I'm not Cinema United.